This is the new Bentley Continental GT. Now, the old guy had a bit of a reputation for being driven by people who tended to play with these things for a living. Anyway, this new one, it may end up being the same, because if you've got lots of money and you want something that's really cool and stylish and fast, you're going to go for this. Now, I love the design of this car, so it's just so cool. These creases, the chrome detailing, the wide haunches here at the back. Now, some people who've seen it say, I'm not so sure about the rear, but I love it. I like the way these lights match the exhaust, and it's just all kind of sleek and squat and strong. Then at the front, you've got a beautiful grille. This car is stunning. The guy who designed this has created a masterpiece. It's, for me, as beautiful as any Constable. So yeah, I'm not talking policeman, obviously, I'm talking art, guys, I'm talking art. Now, this car, it's not cheap though. It starts from just under £160,000. As you'd imagine, the inside of this car is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, the particular car I've got here has got almost £50,000 worth of options on it, and £34,000 of that is the first edition specification, and that's signified by this little number 1 with the Union Jack there up on the dash. So it includes stuff like the Mulliner pack, which includes like diamond quilting. The car also has the knurling on the air vents and on various other bits and pieces, such as the little organ stops. It's just feel quality. I mean, everything is just lovely. There's a metal effect for all the switches, and things like the door handles are actually solid metal. I love it in here, I really do. And then there's attention to detail, such as the way the vents match up to this metal strip that goes all the way around the cabin. I mean, that is really pleasing my OCD. There is something that normally wouldn't. For instance, the stitching up on here does meander somewhat. I can forgive it though. I'll tell you why. It's because this is hand stitched. Now, if this was done by a robot, I'd want it dead straight. But the fact that it is slightly wonky, it's kind of lets you know that it's been done by a man. Obviously, if it had been a Japanese person, they'd probably done it dead straight. But that's British. That's what we're like in England. And it's a bit like John Lennon's voice. The fact that it's imperfect is what makes it so perfect. And the leather quality throughout, oh, it's just lush. It's so super soft. It's got like a boutique tailored feel to it. There are a few things that I'm not so sure about though. So you've got digital dials in this car, and they're really functional, and I like what they've done with them. They look almost real, the way they've got like a 3D effect. Part of me just wants old-fashioned analog dials, but there is greater functionality with this. So you can do things like look at the sat nav, make it go widescreen, connect your phone, look through various functions, and yeah, it's all good. And then there's the widescreen infotainment display, which it's okay to use. You can tell it's based on the system used by Audi. For some reason, they tried to personalize it, make it a bit more Bentley, but it's actually not as easy to use. Now, that brings me on to something else, because there are a few parts in here that you will find in other VW products, say, such as these switches on the steering wheel, a bit like those you get in a Golf. Now, journalists may complain about that, but the fact is, someone who buys this car has never been anywhere near a Golf, nor their friends. The only Golf they know is played at St Andrews or Pebble Beach. So it's functional, it works, doesn't really matter, and it doesn't feel cheap. In fact, all the switches with the metal effect, like I say, it's just, gosh, it's lovely. Some of the switches down here, they're nicely laid out, but they can be a bit confusing to use when you're driving, but you can feel your way around them okay. And there is a decent amount of storage in here, so we've got huge door bins, which is handy for your bottle of water. Down here, there's the special storage area, which I imagine could be used for your cigars, but I don't have any Cubans, so I'm having to use a dry white marker to illustrate that. There is a bit of storage in here, but the glove box isn't the largest, but it's okay. You can put your expensive leather gloves in there. There's a bit more storage under there. And this car actually has a wireless charging point for your mobile phone. And then under here, there's some really deep cup holders. I mean, look at that. Look at the way that opens. I mean, the quality in here is just impeccable. You know, all the wood just feels great. And even the speaker covers for this upgraded name audio system, which, by the way, is so loud. The bass is thumping. It's almost like thunder. It's so good. That feels glorious. Everything you touch and feel is glorious. However, what's it like for people in the back? This is supposed to be a 4-seater coupe. So, come on. Yes, that'll slide out the way. Good. Shouldn't have to do anything manually in this Bentley. Also, the door There you go, soft close, and it's got this little seat belt butler there, so you don't have to reach for your own belt. Now, I'm just going to put this seat back. I've never been in the rear of this car before. Let's see what it's like. Is it going to crush my legs? No. I've just about got enough knee room. Foot space is a little bit tight, and the seat is rather deep, so it's actually pressing against my calf. So it's not the most comfy back here, and headroom's tight as well, though my head is touching this beautiful leather roof lining. Annoyingly, though, I've got product in my hair, so it's going to end up leaving a stain on there. These seats are gorgeous. You've got your own rear windows as well, which is nice. That's a bit of fresh air in. There's some storage and cup holders under here. You've got 12-volt socket. You've got charging point for your mobile phone. You've even got some through loading if you want to carry skis in the back. And look at this. This is a bit unusual. Never had that before. Normally this would be hinged, but yeah, so I could probably sell that on eBay for about £500. Now let's check out the boot, because yeah, this is quite a big car, but I don't reckon it's got the biggest boot. I think, you know, it's a sporty coupe, but it's decent enough in size. I mean, look at that. You can fit a large suitcase, and yeah, there is a bit of a lip to lift stuff over, but to stop you scratching your paintwork, there is a scuff plate here. I think it might be plastic, but it looks like metal, and I'll forgive it because quality in the boot here is really good. Even the carpets here are thick. They're almost as thick as in the front. And check this out for the 12-volt socket. Look at that, it's damped. Now, the thing with this boot is that they've designed it to be wide enough to take a set of golf clubs, look. Golf clubs fit quite easily.
However, this car isn't all perfect. Here's 5 annoying things about it.
This steering wheel looks super lovely, and I really like the large Bentley logo. Seems posh. Shame then that they have to write airbag so big beneath it. Airbag! The surrounds for these parking sensors just look awful. They don't even fit properly. Yeah. For some reason, you can't get the Bentley Continental GT with Android Auto. What, is that because Android phones aren't as good as iPhones? I think not, because the new Galaxy S9 is definitely better than an iPhone 10. Discuss in the comments box below. I love the shiny grille. It just looks expensive. Shame then that the rest of the vents are cheap plastic mesh. Kind of thing that you find on a budget hatchback. When you're driving, the light reflects in this shiny strip, and it catches the corner of your eye, and you always think there's another vehicle just in your blind spot.
Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the Carwow 5 cool features.
The head-up display is really big and bright and very useful while you're driving. You can show things like the directions from the satellite navigation, your speed, and the actual speed limit. When you put the rear spoiler up manually, it shows that you've done that on a little graphic on the car's display, which is kind of cool. I absolutely love the look of the lights. They've been designed to look like diamonds, or maybe they're just Swarovski crystals. There's a Bentley, isn't it? Definitely diamonds. Digital display, a little bit too modern for you. Don't worry, you can turn back time by rotating the screen around for some analog dials. And then when you turn the car off, it'll all just flip away and reveal just a nice, clean, simple wooden surface. These are the biggest iron brake discs on any production car. They're 420 millimeters in diameter. It's no wonder it stops so well.
Now it's time to hit the road to see what this car is like to drive.
How fast can a car which weighs 2.2 tonnes actually be? Well, we're going to find out, because I've got some special timing equipment up there. I'm going to launch this Bentley. Crikey! This is nuts. This is very, 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 very fast. Whoa! Wow! Wow, 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 wow. I've got to hand it to the brakes first of all. I mean, they slammed on the anchors. That's good news. The brakes are good, but what about the performance? Ooh, the standing quarter time is 11.7 seconds. I'm going to check out the 0 to 60 as well. It's supposed to do it in 3.7 seconds, but what did I get? 3.6 seconds. This is rapid. So then, why is this car so blooming quick? Well, that's because underneath the bonnet is a 6-litre W12 twin turbocharged petrol engine with 635 horsepower and 900 newton meters of torque. And I love this engine. It is so powerful. There's something almost geological to it in the way that it's relentless, and it makes the noise of an erupting volcano. It is so good. Now, there is a small matter of economy and emissions, which, yeah, they're not great. They're not great. But I'm actually averaging 22 miles per gallon. Now that could be quite expensive, but if you can afford this car, you don't care about that. What's more important is how far you can go between fuel stops. And this guy has a big petrol tank. So with that economy, I could go about 450 miles between having to pull up and rub shoulders with normal people at a petrol station. Ugh. I can twist the dial down here and put everything in comfort mode, and it softens off the air suspension and then dulls the throttle response, makes the steering a bit lighter, and yeah, it's all wafty and relaxing and comfy. The best mode though is a special Bentley mode, which is the best of both worlds between sportiness and comfort. And yeah, you chuck it into a corner and it somehow grips and goes round. For instance, I'm on a twisty road now and it's surprisingly good. You see, this new Continental GT seems to just continue just holding its line, whereas the old one would have kind of just run out of talent and started to wobble off the road. It is genuinely good fun when you get the opportunity to throw it about a bit. That's a bit wrong doing this. It's a bit like driving the British Museum really fast down the road. You can do it with total confidence. I mean, the four-wheel drive system just grips and grips and grips. It's really, really impressive. Oh! And it can send loads of power to the back. I mean, it is rear drive bias, so it feels sporty. I mean, yeah, it's not quite as agile as something like a Ferrari GTC 4 Lusso, but I think it's nicer inside. But I could live like this, I could. What a car. Actually, I've got to be critical. There is something I don't like about the driving experience, and that's the rear visibility, which is kind of letterbox-like. That's the best way to describe it. Is there anything else I don't like? No. So then, what's my final verdict on the Bentley Continental GT? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, do you know what? If I won the lottery, or if I was a football player, I'd buy it. I love this car. I really do. Oh man, it's epic.